Is being recorded.
Good morning, good evening, and welcome to Tableau TV. Hope everyone is doing great and safe back at their home. So, I think these are the times we have never thought about it that we will be going ahead and be locked down in our homes. So, I thought about let's go ahead and start something in which we can help the community by going ahead and get expertise in our products. So, Tableau TV is all about all the knowledge we have with respect to Tableau, we want to go back and give it to you guys. So that's the whole intention of Tableau TV. So let me just go ahead and start today's session. So what is Tableau TV, right? So Tableau TV is all about connecting you to a product team. It's all about getting deep dive into new and popular Tableau features. We want you guys to participate in Tableau pre-release programs. And today, our speaker will be talking about the data dev program which we have, right? And also to go ahead and answer if you have any questions with respect to our products. Without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker for a first session of Tableau TV. Uh, Her name is Geraldine Zanolli. She's a product manager at Tableau, and we call her Gigi. So Gigi enables the data devs to be successful in using Tableau's API and developer tools. She organizes and hosts events and create content for developers. And the fun fact about her is that when she was a child, she wanted to be a teacher as a day job and a baker at night just to eat all the pastry. Without further ado, let me just hand it over to Gigi. Gigi, over to you.
Um, Thank you again for inviting me. I'm going to share my screen. First of all, I just want to thank you all for coming. I hope everyone is safe and healthy during this difficult time. I'm going to talk about popular use cases from data dev to Tableau customers. That's Q&A. But I'm Geraldine, and everyone is calling me Gigi. You can follow me on Instagram, on Twitter at Elonage. I'm tweeting about developer updates, what's coming next. I've been at Tableau for 4 years. I was based in London working in pre-sales, and I moved about a year ago in Seattle. So right now is 4:30 in the morning, so stay with me. I had 2 cups of coffee already, so should be all right. And as a real geek, my first API call was a Twitter call. So I was building a dating website with Twitter data and getting all the hashtag single at the time. So I'm half French, half Mauritian. So if you don't know where Mauritius is, it's a good time to check it on the map. It's a very tiny island near Africa. I set some goals for the session together. So we have approximately 45 minutes. I will talk for 45 minutes, maybe less, maybe more. But I want you at the end of the session to understand what's the developer platform about. What are the APIs, the tools, and the use cases. You're going to know when to use which APIs. You're also going to learn how to get started tomorrow if you want to. So what's the developer platform? Tableau developer tools allow you different cases and integrations. So first of all, you have automation integrations. If you want to automate tasks, create custom workflow, or manage Tableau content on server or on online. Extensibility, when you want to give dashboards new capabilities and integrate with other applications, if you want to do more with your dashboards. Advanced analytics, if you want to do more with calculated field and you want to integrate with advanced model with R or Python, for example. Embedding, if you want to embed Tableau content into your applications. Data connectivity, to connect to data sources that are not currently supported by Tableau. I like to start this presentation with a journey of a data analyst. First thing you do when you start with Tableau is, of course, to connect to data. So what happens when you don't find a native connector? You have this data source that is really rare or not, and you try to connect to the data source. You type the name in the native data sources, and you cannot find it. We have three options for you: Web Data Connector, Hyper API, and Connector SDK. Web Data Connector allows you to connect to web-based data sources that are not currently supported by Tableau. You have Hyper API. It's like the Swiss knife of the data connectivity. You can create custom scripts that put data directly into a Tableau extract, a .hyper file. Last but not least, most recent one, the Connector SDK, allow developers to build their own custom native looking feeling connectors. Now, you might be asking yourself, I have three options. How can I pick between the Web Data Connector versus the Hyper API, for example? Don't worry, I have you covered. So first of all, think about what you want to connect to. Do you want to connect to web-based data only? You might want to use the REST API then. Or you want to connect to any data sources or data source or APIs. Then Hyper API might be a good option. Or if you want, you have a database and you already know that this database has an ODBC or JDBC driver. The Connector SDK might be the solution for you there. Then think about coding skills. If you have JavaScript skills, Web Data Connector or Connector SDK might be a good option for you. But if Python or Java are more coding skills that you have, then pick the Hyper API. So once you have a connection set, you have your extract or you're connected to your data source. Think about how you want to refresh the data, how you want to get new data. So the Web Data Connector, you can automate the extract by refreshing data using Tableau Server or Tableau Online. For Hyper API, you need to refresh the code by running your code again. While the Connector SDK works as any supported connector. Easy peasy. Once you have the connector, you are set and you know how to refresh it. You want to share it with customers or other members or colleagues. With Web Data Connector, it's really easy. You can share Web Data Connector by using a URL. While the Hyper API, it might be more difficult to share as it requires dependency with the data source that you're connecting to. In the Connector SDK, you can share the connector via connector files. It's called a taco file. Trust me, it's going to be the first time you actually want to share a taco with someone else. You can package all the files into a taco file. So what having been built using this API? The Hyper API is being used to create a publish to Tableau data extract features. Think about ETLs. You clean your data and you want to generate at the end of the flow an extract that you push directly to Tableau Server or Tableau Online for user to use. You might want, so Hyper API is used in that case. Connector SDK, we have a lot of data sources providers that develop native looking connector using the Connector SDK already. And Web Data Connector enable organizations to easily pull data into Tableau to create your visualization. You might have seen Facebook Web Data Connector, Twitter Web Data Connector. You have multiple of ones created by organization or just people from the community. Extensibility. So once you are connected to the data source, You are building your dashboards. That's the second step. What if you want to do more with your dashboards? You want to extend the capabilities of Tableau. Only the sky is your limit. Two options here, JavaScript API, Extension API. So the JavaScript lets you display and interact, that's important, with visualization in a web page, versus Extension API enable Tableau user to integrate and interact with data from other applications directly in Tableau. Main thing here, main difference between JavaScript API versus Extension API is which application, what is your first application? Is Tableau, your dashboard, your application, your main application? Or is your portal, your applications, is your main application? And you just want Tableau inside of it versus Extension API where you want your application to be in your dashboards. So both use JavaScript skills, but JavaScript API, as I mentioned, bring Tableau into another applications, while Extension API bring other application into Tableau. For the JavaScript API, you need to embed Tableau into a web page. So you all need to have this web page ready to be able to embed Tableau in it. For Extension API, you can use Tableau Desktop, server, or online. The JavaScript API is custom built, so depending on which application you're embedding it to or which web page, you are going to create code that have dependency to this web page. With Extension API, you can make it as is reusable generic build. So you might already went to our Tableau gallery. So you can see different extensions that you can already use on your dashboards. So here is two examples. The JavaScript API on the left allow you to have a portal called an agency where you have here in the middle visualizations. Something to remind yourself is they both have double communication. So they can read from the portal and they can send information to the portal or your web application. On the right side, you have Extension API. And you can see you have an interactive visualizations here that is challenging to do with Tableau. It's not natives to Tableau. And you can interact, you see, with your visualizations to the extensions, your dashboards. That's an extension built and inside your dashboards running. So what data dev people, what the Tableau developers, data dev built? So they did choose to embed Tableau server into the platforms using the JavaScript API, enabling multiple customers to quickly support equipment or production issues. Topics is one of our partners and developed 8 extensions available for free on the Tableau gallery using the Extension API. Show me more. You heard of Show Me? Show me more. You can add beautiful visualizations that might be difficult to build in Tableau or are not set by default by Show Me. Picture this allow you to display dynamic images based on image URL that you already have in your data. Now you have your dashboards. You have an extension running. You extend the capability of your dashboards. You use extension versus JavaScript API. Now you have your dashboards. You want to automate certain tasks. You want to integrate with third-party tools. You want to extend the capabilities again. I think the most famous one is the REST API. By programming access to any content that you have, almost any content that you have on the Tableau server UI. Content, user, site. We talk about the 3 Ps: provisioning, permission, and publishing. You have multiple use cases for the REST API. But let's just take a scenario here. You are a Tableau server admin, and you need to create new user on Tableau server every time you have a new employee joining your company. Do you want to do it manually? So, okay, I have 10 employees today. I need to add manually to my server. No. I'm going to use the REST API to automate this task. Every time someone is joining the company, directly it's going to be set with a Tableau server license and account on Tableau server. TSC, Tableau server clients. So you might be thinking, looking at the slide, that it's not much difference with the REST API and TSC, but you are right. TSC is a Python library for Tableau server REST API. So if you are a Python users, you might just want to go and use TSC tomorrow. Tableau Service Manager, TSM. Gives Tableau Server admin command line option for configuring Tableau Server. Different use cases. So again, if you want to back up your production environment, you don't want to do it weekly. You want to do it weekly, but you don't want to do it manually weekly. You want to automate this process. So once a week, Tableau, you have a backup of your Tableau server environment. Just to be sure, if something goes wrong, you just want to be sure to restore the backup that you already have. So you are using TSM to do this weekly backup and don't have to worry about it. If you missed a week, TSM is going to have you covered. Document API. Programmatically modify Tableau files. Document API is one main use case for, I need to remove the S of use cases. It was used for other use cases before, but we added more APIs that was answering to these use cases and was a perfect fit for it. So one main use case for that is changing the username of a data source programmatically. Imagine you have 3-4 customers and they all have different data sources, but they have the same structures. But they have the same dashboard as well, and you don't want to go manually and replace data source in every dashboard. You want to automate this process. Okay, you can use the Document API to replace data sources in these dashboards. And even if you have 4 customers with the same data source but the same data structure, you can have 4 dashboards with the data source swapped using the Document API. Webhooks. Who is not excited about webhooks? I am. So webhooks allow the services to respond to events that happen on Tableau server or Tableau online. It could be an extract failing or a successful extract. You want to be notified when something happens. So when an extract is failing, we have a demo. So I decided for this presentation, we are not going to have time for me to demo all the APIs. I wish we had, but I want to focus on the main API, the most recent APIs. So here, I'm not more Gigi, the developer advocate, I'm Gigi, the Tableau server admin. And in the box, Tableau server sends you an email every time an extract is failing. But I mostly use Slack to collaborate with my team. That's the main place where I get information and I check my emails maybe at the end of the day. But when an extract is failing, because I don't check my emails, I don't know that is failing. Then the boss is upset because the extract failed and it doesn't have the last updated data. So I want to have a Slack notification every time an extract is failing. So let me go to Tableau Online. Here, I'm already connected and I have my extract. I'm going to refresh it to get the last updated data. So here, nothing new. I'm just doing a full refresh of my data source. Is it going to work? Let me check with my team on Slack. Oh, can you see? Movie data refresh fail. You might want to check it. Yes, I might want to check it and see what's going wrong. So here is an example of a webhooks setup. I set up a webhooks to notify me on Slack every time an extract is failing. The Metadata API is our first GraphQL API that allows to query resources on Tableau server and how they are linked to each other. I like to explain the Metadata API by describing a messy family. So in your family, you have your parents, you have your grandparents, you have your cousins, you have brother, you have sister, and a far cousin that you didn't know about. So you are all linked to each other. And what is the relationship between all of these different members of families? It's the same with Tableau Server or Tableau Online. Think a minute about all of the different assets that you have on Tableau Server or Tableau Online today. We have Tableau Server, yeah, we have Tableau Server, but we have workbooks, data sources, we have flows now with Tableau Prep, we have calculate field, they are all linked to each other. And you want to understand the relationship between all these different assets. So when someone, you are a Tableau server admin again, and when someone is deleting a data source, or if you are deleting a data source, you want to be sure that this data source is not linked to anything else on your server. Quick demo, let's see what the metadata API is about. So here is examples of query that you can do today. So here we are looking at workbooks. So I'm using an interface called GraphQL that allow me to query assets directly from the user interface. So that's really useful as well. That's the documentation. You can look at it. For example, we are going to use published data sources. You can see here, I can type and say publish data sources. I can click here and I have a description on how to use it and the different fields. I'm going to close it now. So now I want to create all the Tableau items that I have, all the workbooks that I have. I want to query all the published data sources, and I also want to see if there's any flow running. So let me send in a query. So I can see that I have different workbooks and published data sources. I don't have any flow. So that's good to know. Well, why I don't have any flow? Do I want to have flows? Do I usually have on my Tableau server? What about external assets? So how many database I have and how many tables I have on my Tableau online. So I can see I have an extract. I can see that I have some CSV files. And I can also see the tables names and extracts and all the informations. Now, let's understand how they are related to each other. So I have a worksheet, and I want to see which data source fields are linked to this worksheets and the upstream tables names. So you can see I have an extract, and let's see upstream tables. Let's see if it's one is interesting. Data source fields. So you have all the information here, so, and you can query it. I can just quickly show you a quick query. Let's see. I want, you can say test. And here is really interesting. So you can type, you see already and it's already auto-completing for you. I love this interface, allow you to not make any mistake, for example. And for example, fields, no, it's here. So that's live coding again, so bear with me. I want to see calculate field. I want to have a name. Might not need a workbook name, so we already seen that. But for example, like a query test, let's see how many calculate field I have. And I can see, you see, I can see which calculate field, how many calculate field I have, and what of them on my Tableau online. You can see, I think you can see the formula. Yes, let's see the formula as well. I'm interested to know which calculated field I have. So I can see like what's going on, what are my calculation about. So that's really handy. I have all my information on Tableau online, and I can query it directly from the user interface, but you can also run it in your script. So what DataDev built? So Jonathan from the Information Lab used TIC to make Tableau server housekeeping easy. So you know, when you are running a Tableau server and you're a Tableau server admin, you might have a set of logs that are taking space on your server. You might want to clean it, and you can run Jonathan script to clean it up. Interworks use the REST API for the embedded portal product. I'm going to explain it to you why the REST API is important for embedding. And Colibra and Alation use the REST API and the Metadata API to integrate Tableau with their product, to have external assets and Tableau assets in their product. Now you automate your task, you are ready to go. But you realize that your first application is not Tableau. You want Tableau, but inside your portal. First, I already mentioned it, the JavaScript API allow you to embed your visualization dashboard inside your web application. You have a both-way communications. The web interface, the application is talking to Tableau, and Tableau is talking to your web applications. The REST API. Why the REST API is important here? Because when you're in a use case of embedding, you might have more users than 10 users. So you want to automate the creations of users with the REST API. Another common use of the REST API in embedding use case is by when a user is logged in, signing into the portals, you want the users to see only the content they can see, the permission they have, depending on the permission they have on Tableau server. So when a dashboard is showing up on the main page, if he clicks on it, even if it's an image, first, but when he clicks on it, you want the user to be able to access it. So here is generating the thumbnails of all the dashboards that the user that is logged in can access using the REST API. The custom mobile bootstraps, mobile app bootstraps. So you don't have an application, a web application. You have a mobile app, and you want to embed Tableau visualization into your portal. You can have access to standard of customization using the mobile app bootstrap directly. As data embedded iframe. Say in the chat if you already used it and if you were aware of it. This is a very interesting one. Allow you to embed as data iframe directly in your web applications. You have a website and you want the end user to be able to ask their own questions on your data. Let's say wine website, and you want the user to be able to say, how many wine do I have in my regions, for example? Because I like wine, but that's a good example, isn't it? So you can embed as data, allowing users to ask their own questions on new web page or web applications. Now let's talk about advanced analytics. You have your dashboards, but you're already using calculated field, but you want to do even more. See what you can do. You want to integrate with Python? Sure. So you can use a type-by server and calculate field directly in Tableau. You can type your script inside the calculate field and pass Tableau data directly in this calculate field and send script and the data to a type-by server. Type-by server is going to process the data and give the results to Tableau. So you can visualize the output data directly in Tableau. Why you want to use that? For example, sentiment analysis is a good one. So you have tweets for your company or the podcast you are running, and you want to understand what is the sentiment. Is it positive? Is it negative? And you can use Python and integrate it with Python to have the sentiment analysis of all these tweets and understand and visualize the information directly in Tableau. It's really similar with R. Instead of a TypeI server, you will need a R server running. Pass the data and the script to the R server, and R server is going to send back the output data, and you can visualize it in Tableau. Same again with MATLAB. Now I'm not going to spend much time on this slide, but it's there if you want to use it. That's the newest API on the developer platform, Analytics Extension API. So allow you to integrate with third-party tools and write script directly into Tableau. You can integrate with any web application, web server, get data, and run it using the analytics extensions. Let's do a quick demo so you can understand it better. Really, you can call any web server and add any programming languages to calculate field in Tableau. So like any other external services, you need to have external services connections. Here, I'm connecting to the server. It's hosted on Glitch. If you don't know Glitch, I recommend looking at it. I'm going to explain later what is on Glitch, but that's a lot of live samples built by the developer program member, advocate, sorry. So you can go on Glitch, and we have a Tableau profile there where you can see live samples, and you can actually access the code for these demos as well from Glitch. I'm going to talk about all resources later, but that's a good one. So here I'm setting up my server. Maybe I should have tested it before, just to be sure. Action. Okay, successfully connected. Perfect. And I created a calculate field. So let me just explain quickly the data. I have my tweets, and I have a number of retweets, but that's all the tweets with the hashtag datadev. If you want to tweet about the session, use the hashtag datadev. And you have all of these tweets that I exported with the hashtag datadev. They are all in English. Anyone here that speaks another language, but English is not their native language? That's the case for me. I have all these tweets in English, and I wish it would be in French, because my native language is French. And I want other users to be able as well, other French Tableau users, to be able to see the tweet in French as well. So here I'm using that. Let me make it bigger. So I want to translate. So that's the function that I'm calling on the analytics extension side. And I want to send the tweets text to my script. And I want here I set up the translation being from English to French. Now I can drag and drop my tweet. Any French speaker, but just might want to say in the chat, but we understand and that's a good translation. I can confirm myself. And that's the right translation. So I have now my tweet translated. My script is running, getting the tweets in entry, processing it, calling a web service that allows you an API that is translating for us. So you might heard of Google Translation API, and we are passing the tweet in English and is sending back the tweet in French directly in my dashboards. So I can just remove that, and I have my dashboard in French with my data in French. and I can send it to my French customer and friends. Really, really excited about Analytics Extension API. Really expand the capabilities of Tableau and calculate fields. You have already integration with Opal and RapidMinder, but are using them for the integration with Tableau. Oh, perfect timing. So what data dev built? Opal using the Analytics Extension API connect Opal platform with Tableau Desktop to make real-time prediction using the technology. And Boston Consulting Group used Tableau to share optimization models with their customer through interactive dashboard, running Python script inside Tableau. So now I'm sure you're in front of your WebEx and you're really excited and you want to get started. You want to work with Tableau and Tableau developer platform and learn more. That's why I'm talking about the developer program. If you haven't heard of us before, you might not know why I have a lot of T-Rex's picture on the background. Flex the T-Rex is our mascot. So the T-Rex is our mascot because when we released Extension API, when you use Extension API, you need to drag a T-Rex file. So T is for Tableau, EX is for extension, and R is to make it a T-Rex. And since then, Lex the T-Rex is our mascot, and that people from the community dress up as T-Rexes. I was at TC Europe last year. So I introduced myself, but we are our team. That's our team. That's the developer platform team. That's us at TC when we were running the hackathons. Bunch of us, engineers, project managers, software engineers that are here building APIs and releasing new feature every quarter. That's a Tableau developer program. It's a free program, a safe space to innovate and learn. When you join the developer program, you can get a free development site, allowing you to learn in a safe environment and learn from you making mistakes. So when I started with the REST API, talking about real story, I was using the Tableau server of my team. And I was trying to run a script that was creating a project, a site, and deleting the site once it was created. And my script was not running. So try 10 times, it was not working. I had the same, I was like, I'm sure I'm doing it right. What's wrong? And I asked a friend to check my script and turn around and say, Gigi, that's a good thing that your script is not running, because right now what you're trying to do is delete all the sites on the team server. Yes, it was a good thing that my script was not running right, because I didn't have the right permission on the Tableau server. Thank you. And at the time, it was like, oh, what would be a great space, like a place where I could run my script and messing around without having any repercussion. I can make a mistake, fail, no one will know. That's what your free development site is about. Early API access. This site is set with the last pre-release version of Tableau. So those of you as well to learn about new APIs that haven't been released yet and test them in the development site. Or then if you Tableau server hasn't been upgraded and you still want to use webhooks, that's a recent feature, you can use the development site to learn more about webhooks or metadata API if you want to. You have a connection with the engineering team. So we have a Slack channel where you can join and talk to people from the engineering team. You are the first one to know. So that means you are getting exclusive invitation to our sprint demos where people, employees, employees engineers, software engineers, product manager are demoing what they're coming next. So we have a WebEx, and you can also start asking questions, give feedback live to the engineering team, and they're showing what they have been working on and what's coming next on the developer platform. And the Tableau developer program is not only a program, it is a community of passionate people that are happy to help or share their use cases. We have often on Slack, on our Slack or on Tableau forums, people asking us like, I want to do that, and I know I need to use, for example, the REST API, but I don't know how to do it. Or can someone share the experience? We have a real communication between the different members and data we have called the data devs, and they are sharing the knowledge and they are sharing their experience as well using our APIs. And of course, Wake Up the T-Rex is new, so that's Flex the T-Rex that is doing a warrior yoga pose because it's flexible as the developer platform is. If you want to join the developer platform, is developer.tableau.com. We also have a lot of different resources for you to get started. So we have a GitHub page where you can find sample code, SDKs. We have Tableau developer tools, so you can just have an overview of all our tools, and they are all, you can find on this page links also to learn more about the tools. And we also try to publish quite often on YouTube's tutorials, step-by-step tutorials. So we have one for REST API, Extension API. So I mentioned virtual events. So we have exclusive events only for members of a developer program. One of them is sprint demos, is every last Wednesday of the month. So you can already bookmark it in your agenda every Wednesday, last Wednesday of the month. We also have developer user group on Jakarta when people, customers, partners, people from the community are coming and talk about the usage of our APIs, what have been working on and use cases. And we have the office hours. So when we are releasing a new APIs, or if you are asking for more how to or talk walkthrough from an API, we have office hours with product manager where they show what is the feature, like demos, and you can ask them questions, and there you get answer from the engineering team. Again, also, if you want to talk to the developer user group or you have an ideas of subject, feel free to email us as well. We want to hear from the community. We want to know what you want and what you're interested in. So we announced it. It's really recent. You might never heard of it. We announced it last Wednesday, so 2 days ago. Metadata Site Challenge. We have been working on it for a few weeks, and it's a 3 months of fun challenges. You are going to have 18 challenges in total. You have 3 different levels from easy, moderate, and advanced, so you can pick which level you are or try to challenge yourself to the next level, who knows. And we have different categories of challenge: extensibility, automation, integrations, and embedding. I mentioned in the beginning that the developer program gives you access to a free sandbox site. You can sign up to the developer program, get your developer site, and so all these challenges, you can solve them by using the dev site, the developer sandbox site. So the agenda. So April 1st, we are going to host an introduction webinars. And April 6th at 8 a.m. Pacific time, we are going to publish the first set of challenges. So we are going to have one set of challenges every 2 weeks. But just to keep you engaged, we are going to get more content. So the first week we have going to host a API focused webinar. So next one could be, I think, is the extensibility. So we are going to talk about extension API in more details. And after 2 weeks, at the end of the set of challenges, we are going to invite people from the community to explain how do they solve the challenges, what did they do, how did they solve the set of challenges, and sharing their knowledge with you. So if you're interested in participating to the challenges to learn, you can join today the developer program. We are going to send out the invitation next week for all the webinars and all the details. But you are going to learn, but we also have prizes for you. Yes. If you complete a level 1 challenge, you win a data dev sticker pack. If you complete a level 2, you win an exclusive data dev water bottle. And if you win a level 3, you win 2020 data dev t-shirt and beanie. So if you want to learn more, I recommend you to go to this URL and you have all the details, the official rules, all the details of the challenges. And we are going to send out the invitation to webinars. And once the first set of challenges is going to be live, we are going to email you as well. And if you want to chat with the developer platform teams, with the engineer, with the developer advocate, you can join us on Slack. We have different Slack channels for each API. So if you want to get help as well, it's a great place to go. We also have more fun channels where we have one we created recently because we are all, in the US, we are all working from home. So we have a virtual coffee channel. So we send jokes or just our home setup and tips to work from home. So if you're interested, you can join us on Slack. Now I'm going to take some questions. Thank you again for listening. So sign up for the developer program to learn more and get started tomorrow with today, depending on what time it is on your time zone, to get started with our APIs.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Gigi. I think first of all, coming and taking sessions 4 in the morning for us, I think thanks a lot for that. I know it's too early for you, but really appreciate your commitment to our customers in APAC region also.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Perfect. So I will just go ahead. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and put into a chat or Q&A box. Happy to go ahead and just call out for Gigi. So there was a question, Gigi, on how exactly can we set a webhooks API? Do you want to just call out the resource? This particular person can go ahead and set it up.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to open the web page. So I'm personally using for webhooks, I'm using Postman. Postman is a free tools. Is a free tools for is a UI to send HTTP requests. So I'm using Postman to set up webhooks, and you can go to our GitHub's page and webhooks and you can download there a Postman collection. And setting up webhooks, you have all the documentation here, how to set it up, and the different events that are available to you. So, for example, I use data source refresh file. So how you check which API events, and once you have the collections download, you can open it on Postman. I can quickly show you Postman how it works. If you're interested, you should have it on my computer setup. So once you downloaded it, you can import the collection in Postman. Opening will take some. It's really easy to set up webhooks. So you need to sign in to your server or to Tableau Online. And once you are signed in, you can create a webhooks for the event you want. You just want to have a URL of destinations and a good place as well to go to. Let me back. We have on GitHub, if you look at data dev hackathons, we have small mini projects for you. So we have 2 on webhooks. So send a Slack notification when the webhook is updated. So it's really similar to the demo I had. or send a notification when a workbook is created. So that's using your mobile phone. If you want to receive a text message, you can go there and you have a step-by-step tutorials. So if you want to get started, this is a perfect place to get started. And you see it's really, really easy and you have all the steps there. Go to data dev hackathons on GitHubs and also look at webbooks to download the Postman collection and just have a look at our documentation.
Perfect. Thank you. And I have one question with respect to my customers. So they're always asking about, and I think a web data connector, right? So
Yes.
any best practice do you follow with respect to web data connector?
Best practice.
Yeah.
Have a best practice. It's not best practice. Just follow the documentation and all the tutorials available. And be sure that you have a clear user interface when the user is copying and pasting the URL in Tableau server. Be sure that it's clean and that you enter your username and your email address. So if anything goes wrong with your web data connector, be sure that the customers, the end user, is able to contact you if anything goes wrong. So you can enter your details and keep them up to date. And just also follow our updates to be sure that you don't miss any of our updates. So, for example, recently we changed the browsers in Tableau Desktop. So that was a huge update for Web Data Connector. We communicated with every Web Data Connector creators to be sure that the Web Data Connector will be still working in the new versions, but just keep yourself updated to the new release as well.
Okay. I'm not sure. Do you want to take a question on Power BI? So someone is asking Power BI directly provides web data connector for connecting to API or any web link. How Tableau's web data connector is different and better than this?
So I'm not familiar with Power BI and the API, so maybe is not be the right person to take these questions.
Perfect. Yeah.
Any questions?
Just checking. Mm, just to repeat myself, if you have any questions, go ahead and put it into chat. Happy to take it for you. So there is a question, is there a way to connect to IBM TM1 application from Tableau using REST API as Tableau currently doesn't support this application?
I'm not really familiar with IBM TM1 applications, but the REST API is to automate tasks on Tableau server. So it's programmatically access to Tableau server and Tableau Online UI. So you're not going to use the REST API to connect to data sources, but you might want to check that if IBM TM1 application has an API or ODBC or JDBC driver. So you can use either the web data connector if it has an API, or if it has an ODBC JDBC driver, use connector SDK. And you can also use the Hyper API as connect to any data sources.
Perfect. There is one question. So if you're new to Tableau and want to be a part of data dev after joining the program, what should I do in that case?
Sorry, can you come again?
So if you're new to Tableau and want to be a part of data dev, so
Yeah.
after joining the dev program, what should I do?
So just go to developer.tableau.com and join the program. We send monthly updates. We send you exclusive invitations. And once you set up, you join the developer program, you can join the site. You can get your free dev sites. And you can find a lot of resources from the data dev community that we are sending in monthly updates, tutorials, and follow us on social media to know what's coming next as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Any last thoughts, Gigi, you want to share it with the community? I think just thank you for sharing all the knowledge with us about the Tableau's developer program. Just any last thoughts you want to share about?
So what's I want just to show you what's coming next if you join the developer program. So on April 1st, we are officially launching the first set of challenges. So if you want to learn more about APIs on a fun way and you get more exclusive data dev swags, you can get started on April 6th. On April 29th, we have our April sprint demos with updates from the engineering team. And May 28th, we have a virtual developer user group exclusively for developer um, members of the developer program. And we are going to talk about advanced analytics. So how users, how customers and partners are using Python and the new analytics extension API.
Perfect. Thank you. I will go ahead and send a follow-up mail in which I will share the recording and all the details which Gigi has shared with us. I think with that, thanks a lot, Gigi, for
Thank you
your
all.
time to do.
Thank you for having us. And yes, if you, I hope to see some of you on the Slack or just in the different events we are running. So join the developer program, developer.tableau.com. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.